Okay, I got a pretty big stack here. It's not gonna be one episode. It's gonna be probably, I'm guessing, 2 or 3 episodes for sure. Uh, but I'm gonna also have to try and remember what they were because I didn't realize I had a bunch of comics that I read that I had set aside to review, and I just totally didn't get to them. They got buried underneath other stuff. This October event is just October is just not working out very well for oddball episodes because I've been trying to focus on Halloween style episodes. So I want to get these recorded for November, and then I'll get back to some more Halloween stuff since there's only a couple days left, and we'll see where we end up. See how much we get through and stuff. Keep sitting back on my hair. I think it's time to get it trimmed. Uh, all right, make sure I got my glasses nearby. Got my coffee almost gone. So I'm gonna have to get a couple sips off that before it's ice cold. Now these are the first ones of these versions that I've read so far. Archie's Festival. These are the religious Archie books. Uh, they're from Bardor. That's an interesting name for a religious organization, but or Barbor, I guess. I don't have my glasses on. Barbor Christian Comics. This is Archie's Festival by Al Hartley. Uh, this is enjoyable. It was interesting. Uh, the way they played this story out. Of course, we got Archie, Mr. Weatherby having their little things because Weatherby knows Archie's going to do something to screw something up. But somehow, Archie was elected chairman of the Creative Arts Festival. So Mr. Weatherby's worried about that. It's like, well, you can't put him in charge. He's a goof up, and a bunch of stuff's going to happen. And of course, when Weatherby expects things to happen, they don't happen the way they would normally with Archie around. But all kinds of interesting things happen from the event. Like they have a cow that they're using, and they decide to store it in Mr. Weatherby's office for some reason. Archie has Jughead take it in there, and of course that does not go over well. Uh, but other than that, the few little things that Weatherby stresses out on ends up not being as bad as he thought. And then Mr. Weatherby and Archie get along for a while because Weatherby's all happy that nothing went overly bad other than like the cow event and stuff like that. But then Archie is transporting something explosive, and he stores it in the wrong side of the Volkswagen Beetle, thinking he's putting it in the uh, trunk, and instead he put it in the engine compartment. And of course, that's going to heat up while you're driving, and you can just imagine what happens to them. They take a little trip into the sky, and then the next story leads into with Weatherby having his arm wrapped up and stuff, and Archie trying to take care of him and help him out with first aid stuff, which always turns into a fiasco. And then second half of the story, the stories get a little more religious promotive as far as just putting those points across, the religious points that they wanted to get across throughout it. But I got a little Miss Beasley story in the back. Yeah, I was, and you'll get like Archie's prayer page and stuff, but outside of the religious stuff, it's pretty much just as the same thing as a regular Archie comic. Uh, I was kind of surprised they were kind of a little more goofier than I expected them to be. There's a little peace story in the back. They have a good variety of stories throughout this, whereas usually with the Archie comic, you're getting like 2 stories, maybe a couple. single page pop ups and stuff like that. But these had a good variety of stories that kind of all link together well and stuff. So I didn't mind them. Uh, I was born Catholic, but just won't follow that route like I used to. Uh, but the second one was Archie's Something Else, and this one took us into a fun story with a new character that happens to come to the school. But before that, we have Archie and Jughead thinking they're getting chased by the cops. The cops are going off, the going flying past them, so they're not pulling them over for speeding or anything like that. But the reason they flew past them is because there was a bomb threat at the school. So Weatherby had called the cops, and they were worried about that. And then a new student happened to show up. That's this hippie protest type student. And of course, Weatherby's like, well, he might have called the bomb threat in, worrying about him, and it turns into where they make it Moose and Archie in a story where Moose is getting prepared for a competition and stuff, and Archie's helping him out. But uh, while all this stuff's going on, there's a camera crew that comes into the school, and they're trying to find anything negative that they can promote on their news channel about the school. But it turns out that all the kids are very happy. Uh, they all promote the Bible Club, peace, happiness, getting along, all that stuff. And you get to see how things turn with their little hairy hippie character and stuff. They're well done. I enjoyed them. Uh, but I'll probably pass those on because they're not true Archie storylines. So, and we'll see. They may stay in the collection or they may get passed on to someone. Biker Mice from Mars. Then the Celliverse story. Um, we get the third and final issue. Bummed. I wanted to go further. I wish this would have went at least. I would have liked to have seen him do a 12 issue run with starting off with the biker mice. But I get it how they gave it a little teaser so people could get used to it, see if they want to jump into it. They get the sectors and all the other different runs that are also short runs, teasers to get everybody into the characters. But yeah, the war goes on. We got biker mice characters that left the military to help out their families, and thankfully they do because the other characters are very heavy weapon. Uh, they have a lot of weaponry. It's basically this one plays out a lot kind of like a Mad Max style uh, war going on because they got all the vehicles with the weaponry on them, and they're just fighting back with the biker mice, and they're trying to protect them from getting to the village where all the innocent people are, and there's all kinds of things that happen. We get to see what's up with our one newer character in here, which I don't want to give away anything with that, and what happens with our mice characters that went into the military and stuck with the military, and what happens with them, whether or not or how the military ends up being part of things and stuff. It was really enjoyable. If you don't know anything about biker mice or like the biker mice from Mars, just picking this up, checking it out. It's only a 3 issue run, so it's not that big of a load as far as investment wise to check it out. But I really enjoyed it. But I'm also a big fan of Biker Mice from Mars from my childhood. So I always love those characters. If you're taking my opinion, it's because it may be a little impartial for you, but yeah, enjoyable. And even the sectors and stuff, like they had that advertised on the back here. I was never big fan of sectors or anything. Never really got into them. They're all part of the same universe, and I actually enjoyed what the Nacelliverse teaser comic had for all those different uh, other runs, and the sectors I think is like 2 issues in already, but I didn't decide not to jump on that one. I wanted to just basically focus on the biker mice at this moment. And we got EC Cruel Universe. This is number 3. Uh, this one's gonna be, see if I can remember what these are. Automated by Jay Holtham and Kano is the first storyline, and we look at a post-apocalyptic era and someone remembering the past, looking back at an old coffee shop, how nice it was and stuff. But then they end up going to this old garage where this car is in there. And we find out that they were the part of this car's lifeblood. Basically helped work on it or whatever. I don't want to give away too much, but we find out that these AI self-driving or whatever type vehicles were part of the cause of the uh, collapse of the world, and we find out the whole history of it through that, and it's very interesting uh, how they played that one out. I really enjoyed it. We got We Drown on Earth, which is, I don't want to show that because it'll show you the last page of the last storyline, but we do have characters that are on a ship, and we got this man, all basically suited up, hazard material character that's on the ship, and he's different, taking people out that are part of the ship, and they kind of fight back, and things happen to the point where we see like demons, beings start appearing. The ship goes down. They have to go to an island, and this island is full of interesting characters, and we find out why those characters are the way they are, how they became what they were, and it just all leads into the whole reason for the ship being out in the ocean at the moment. And that was done by Zach Thompson, Dan McDade, and Mike or Michelle Madsen. Yeah, Michael Madsen. In my mind, I don't think he'd be a colorist, but who knows? She may be related to him. And we got The Deleted Man from Ben H. Winters and Carson Thorne. And in this story, you see a character that's just a real ass, just ass to people and just kind of rude. And he wants his social mistakes on the computer world kind of deleted away, and things start happening where he like loses his nose. His nose disappears. And you can imagine what else is going to happen for the rest of the story by me giving you that little parcel away. But it was an interesting way they did it on the play of that style storyline. We got Behave by Cullen Bunn and David Rubin, where there was a event where they had these electronic spheres. Could kind of almost related to oh Christ, now I can't even think of the name of the movie. Phantasm. And kind of a play on those style spheres, spheres that basically have their own mind and they get sick of humanity and they decide to take out humanity. And they do a great twist on how all this goes. Of course, Cullen Bunn, you're not going to go wrong with a good Cullen Bunn story. But yeah, I enjoyed this issue. Another great variety of stories with that one. We got Fire and Ice number 3. I don't think this is the final. I don't care. I wish I would have never got this run at all because, I mean, what are we? Yeah, there's another. I'm guessing it goes about probably 5 issues, but this is issue 3. This issue was the first issue that made me feel like I'm reading the Fire and Ice that I watched many, many years ago, the animated movie, because you get the barbaric fights going on between the different clans and stuff. Not so verbally heavy throughout the battles in this one, and they do hit points where it gets heavier towards the second half of the story and goes back to the feel of the first 2 issues. I love the artwork. I like the and if you didn't call it Fire and Ice, I would enjoy it more. Again, this is an example of where they sit there and take a concept from the past and kind of add to it, make it more enhanced and all that. And it just that movie was almost it was so silent. And it was just battles and barbaric and Neanderthalic, however you want to call it. But Bill Willingham, Leonardo Manco, Jeff Eckleberry, and Matt Idelson. Special thanks to Sarah Frazetta and Joe Weber. I don't know if it was influence wise or if they did the artwork, because I mean, it just definitely has the Frazetta feel. I mean, that's definitely a Frazetta girl feel to that. Uh, but yeah, I like this one the best out of it. But and we're seeing the groups fighting, and of course the main princess and her cat going off to battle herself. She just not wanting to sit in the castle and behave herself. She's a warrior, so she definitely wants to get out and battle. So and she gets herself in a predicament, and someone happens to pop up, give her a hand, and it's just I liked it, but it still just doesn't feel like the Fire and Ice old school movie that I seen many many years ago. And yeah, granted, you got this certain characters and all, the main characters and all that in it. But yeah, I could be wrong. I I guess I gotta watch it again. I mean, that was many years ago that I watched it, and there may have been psychedelics involved. Um, a couple times when I watched it. But yeah, from what I remember, it was more wasn't so wordsy. But these storylines are definitely pushing. I get it. It's in book format, so you want to give more to the characters. But yeah, it's I. All right, we got Garfield, issue 2 of 4. Loving this run. Cover's kind of a little, eh. And this one's better than the last one. But I love the orange sketch covers and stuff. But we get Operation Worst Monday Ever by Brinson Thiam, Dozer Draws, and Ian Hearing. This story, we get one female cat character that has it out for Garfield and has a plan to ruin his Monday. And we see each day going by as we're learning what the plans are, and they sit there and set some things up, play with it, do things to Garfield, all kinds of things are just happening. trying to ruin his sleep, ruin his meals, ruin everything throughout the whole day. And in the end, we find out a fun little twist I can't ruin. Then we got Winner Winner Sunday Dinner by Ryan Estrada, Axer Inez, and Steph Perennis, or Perenins. Um, Story, we got our big guy coming to visit Garfield. John's all happy, whipping out the lasagnas, of course. I mean, these cats are devouring lasagna after lasagna after lasagna. It's like, Christ. And they got to get full eventually. But, yeah, it's ends up being where a mouse appears, and John's like, well, let's make it a competition. For each mouse either one of you gets out of the house, catches and gets out of the house, John will make you a lasagna. So you can imagine what happens with the big cat and Garfield and the competition that they get into. Yeah, both stories were a lot of fun. Definitely a great new Garfield run going on here. I hope they keep going with it, even though it was based off the Garfield movie. I hope they definitely get deeper into what's going further and further on with it. I mean, look at the old Garfield. I mean, what do we got? Like, did they just celebrate the 75th uh, compilation book of the Sunday Garfield Sunday cartoons they put out? And there's just so many Garfield cartoon books out there. From the past, I'm looking forward to some new ones because I've read all the other stuff pretty much. And we got Geiger number 6. This is the final issue, right? Final issue of this run. And okay, that's a teaser for Hyde Street in the back. I'm like, that doesn't look like Geiger. What the heck? I forgot they had a teaser for Hyde Street, which is a great run too. I've been reviewing that uh, if you've missed it. No, Geiger is still going on. Okay, yeah, that's right. I do have it pre-ordered still, so it's gonna go at least probably 12, 13 issues. It can go on longer. I don't care. Geiger's my well, Geiger and Junkyard Joe are probably my two favorites from this whole unnamed universe, Ghost Machines unnamed universe. But I can't really say that either. Redcoat surprised me. Rook was good. Yeah, yeah, those Geiger and Junkyard Joe are still the best, but those definitely did their due and put out some great books. We got When the Unknown War Erupted. Tariq Geiger was caught in the fallout and transformed into the Glowing Man. After discovering his family did not survive, this nuclear nomad walks the irradiated United States looking for any excuse to share his rage with evildoers he deems deserving. Previously, having barely survived their encounter with the now ground into hamburger electrician, Tariq Geiger, Nate the Nuclear Knight, and Barney must recover from their wounds, both physical and emotional. Geiger's trying to feed Barney, trying to get his spirits up, seeing if he's still having some problems. He's just not having it. He gives him a hell of a plate of brats and steaks and burgers and all that shit. But sadly, our two-headed dog is just not up to it. And you see the mice eating away at the plate eventually, and the dog just decides to wander off. It's like, I just gotta take a walk, try and figure out what happened to me. And comes across this cute little zebra, three-eyed zebra character who just comes walking up, and all of a sudden his third eye just pops open. It's like, I mean, when you get Geoff Johns and stuff, I mean, I suppose I could give the names out again: Geoff Johns, Gary Frank, Brad Anderson, Rob Lay, all working on here in a variety of covers and stuff. But you get some fun characters when they're involved. Uh, but we end up finding out that the little zebra is basically on, you could call it a game farm, but it's an old zoo that people are coming and they're hunting animals. And a lot of these animals have different abilities from the nuclear blast and all that stuff. So our dog character goes to this thing and follows the zebra and hears the gunshot. And then we find out that the zebra's ma is dead. And all kinds of things ensue after that. And our dog character tries to do what he can and ends up going through some more trauma. It's, I feel bad for our two-headed dog. He's been having a pretty shitty couple episodes here. But yeah, it's very good storyline in here. I figured it'd be a little don't want to, don't really want to watch that, but they twisted and turned it, played it through, and there's some interesting outcomes of it, and some really fun characters that you get to see in this one too. That our two-headed dog happens to come across. But let's see, we're almost at a half hour. Let's put a Get Fury in here yet. Get Fury, the final issue, The Last Stand, to Frank Castle and Nick Fury. The Last Stand of Frank Castle and Nick Fury. Garth Ennis, Jason Burrows, Guillermo Ortego, and Nolan Woodard on this one. We get back to our history lesson from our person from the past. Sorry about that noise. Someone's having problems opening up a plastic container. uh, but he tells us more of the history of what happened in the past. And then we go back to the story where we got Castle and Fury after the escape with Fury's ex and his daughter. And there's lots of things that happen while they're trying to escape, get back to safe land, and at the same time, the people that are on their side are trying to kill them. So you're dealing with all that, and it just, yeah, ends up becoming a foot chase through Vietnam, trying to get to safety, and a lot of things happen during it uh, that are disturbing, bummers, all that stuff. But you also get the transcripts of what's going on, the little things that are blocked out from the military that they don't want you to see and stuff. But it was a good ending to a 6-issue story about getting Fury out alive. If Castle could do it, and he's about the only one that could do it. So that's why they sent him in, but they expected to kind of turn the tide in the end against Fury and Castle. And you get to see what happens with all the people that are chasing them and whether or not they make it back alive. Well, they're both in comics many years later. So they do survive. Spoiler alert. uh, but yeah, I'm going to end that there. It looks like we're going to have probably 2 more episodes out of this stack. Still quite a few left in there. That's good. And so far, I remembered most of those stories. So that's a good thing. But yeah, we will get back with more of these. So keep an eye out for them. Keep following Under the Cult of MS. Rate, review, subscribe. Tell a friend. Check out Crypto Cult Comic Club. And we'll get back with more of this fun sometime soon. And lots of other stuff. See what we got. Never know. All right. Take care.